Meetings. Good evening and welcome to the May 13, 2009 Civil Service Commission meeting. Maybe a roll call, please.
Commissioner Devine?
Here.
Commissioner Gantis?
Yes.
Commissioner Manukian?
Here.
Chair Abkarian?
Here.
And for the record, Commissioner Coleman is absent.
What's next?
Minutes?
Move to approve and dispense from reading.
Second.
Move in a second. Any discussion? Maybe a roll call, please.
Commissioner Devine?
Yes.
Commissioner Gantis?
Yes.
Commissioner Manukian?
Yes.
Chair Abkarian?
Abstain. What's next?
Oral communications.
I have one card from Mr. Richard Espiritu.
Before I get started, did you get your pen back?
I got my pen back, thank you.
Good afternoon, members of the commission and members of the staff. I am Richard Espiritu. I want to quote a chapter from the Bible. When the priest and the Levites went to ask John the Baptist, who was he? According to John chapter 23, he says, I am a voice crying in the wilderness. I'm going to start crying. Have any of you gentlemen had the opportunity to read Jerry Brown, Attorney General, the state of California's report on the City of Maywood Police Department? If you haven't, I'd like to read a couple of things in there. One of the things that says the failure of the police department to accept and investigate complaints by the citizenry of the city. The city of Glendale arrested a young man because he wanted to file a complaint against the city of Glendale. I'm going to have to read you the next one because this is a quote. Inappropriate sexual harassment, vulgarity, discourtesy to members of the public and between officers, the lack of cultural, racial, and ethnic insensitivity. Gentlemen, I've come before this commission and the city council and talked about this issue before. I was brought in front of the city attorney's office and had to make depositions about the inability of the Glendale Police Department to have sensitivity not only to the public but to other police officers. There's an interesting situation that came to my attention, and I'm making it publicly known now, that there are 3 more lawsuits that are going to be brought by police officers against the Glendale Police Department. Each and every one of you gentlemen are aware of that sexual harassment case that occurred several years ago that cost the city $3 million and $1.25 million of legal fees. There were stipulations in that case. Those stipulations were supposed to be upheld by the police department and overseen by the city council. You are the arm of the city council because each and every one of you were appointed by a member of the city council. I lay this at your feet saying that not only has the city council not lived up to their obligation according to Jerry Brown's report, but neither have you members of the commission, and you should start to take a strong look because you are the ones who are to oversee inappropriate activities of individuals who are employed by the city to other employees. I've made the comment several times in the past that your body, this commission, should also be given the authority over the police department to oversee any inappropriate activity by the police department to the citizen. Somehow that got translated that I wanted to have a police commission. I never said that. However, the person that did say it was a lady who her husband happens to be a judge, said it 8 years ago. I still believe that you gentlemen should have that authority, and I hope to God that you have a chance to read the Jerry Brown report. It's 30 pages. If you don't have one, you can go online, or I will be personally happy to make copies of all 30 pages and provide it to each and every one of members of this commission. I really hope that you gentlemen take a stand and do what you have to do. Thank you very much.
Quick question. May I? The report you were referring to, excuse me, was that the report for Maywood Police
Yes.
Department?
Yes.
So I just want to clarify, does that have anything to do with the Glendale Police Department? Or does it make reference to it?
It does not make reference, but if you read all 30 pages, I think you will see some very striking similarities.
Okay.
Okay?
Just wanted to make sure I understood, because I thought
There-
the report was reflecting our city's police
No,
department. Okay.
it doesn't. But there are some very striking similarities.
And
Okay.
how do we get access to it? It's online, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
If you go to the State of California website, click on the Attorney General, you'll see it pop up on the side. Okay. And if you can't find it, contact me. I'll be more than happy to make copies for you.
Commissioner Devine.
Okay. I would like to invite the speaker to our June 10th meeting. At that meeting, we're going to have an item that's going to discuss our powers, authorities, and duties. And I think it'll be very interesting to you and find that some of the comments you made or your perceptions of what we're supposed to be doing are not truly accurate. So I would like to invite you to the June 10th meeting. The city attorney will be making a presentation, and I think those questions will be answered.
I will be here on June 10th.
Thank you.
That I promise you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Again, I just want to make sure that we understand that the comments were not because it says it was coded, and some there might be some misunderstanding. Not a single one of those codes were about the Glendale Police Department or any action taken. And any statements made in here is just just discussion purposes, but not a single one of those were actually stated by Jerry Brown about the Glendale Police Department. It was a different police department and had nothing to do with our police department here. Thank you. What's the next item, please?
Recruitment and examination status report.
Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, this item is a review of the current recruitment activity. As you've seen over the past few months, recruitment activity has been reduced somewhat due to an ongoing hiring freeze. There are, however, some recruitments currently going on in some limited capacities in Water and Power Department, some hourly positions in the Parks Department, some within police, and a whole series of positions relating to the economic stimulus program, which have popped up within the Community Development and Housing Department. So with that, this is an item for information only. If you have any questions, try and answer them. Thank you.
Any questions? What are people doing in your office? Doing more typing?
Mr. Chair,
Just kidding.
budget. There are lots of things going on.
I'm sure. I'm just kidding. Okay, thank you so much. Next item, please.
Eligible list established.
Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, this report lists the eligible lists that have been established since our last meeting. As you can see, there are 3 lists that have been established, all of them from Glendale Water and Power. The report indicates the total number of applications received, as well as those who ultimately made it onto the eligible list. With that, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer them.
Any questions? Next item, please.
City Council motion for appointment to Deputy City Attorney.
Stowe?
Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, this item is notification to the Commission of the appointment of a new Deputy City Attorney. This is Yvette Nukian, and I'll probably have her come on up to the podium here. The City Attorney is authorized under both the Charter and Civil Service rules to make appointments through the suspension of competition provisions of both the Charter and the rules. Thus, he has that authority. The Commission then is then notified of those appointments. Having said that, and a point of clarification, that the Attorney's Office does go through a very extensive recruitment process, as was the case in this situation, where we did in fact put up a job bulletin and received over 150 applications for this job, and interviews were conducted involving both city attorney staff and the neighborhood services staff, and a decision was made to appoint Ms. Nukian. She is here for your notification, and I think last time this occurred, the Commission thought it would be nice if they could actually meet the individual. So she is here.
I like her last name, Nukian. Shorter version of mine.
Yes.
Nukian. Oh, there you go.
Maybe we should change yours to Nukian.
No, that's not a good thing, but what can we do?
Are we allowed to vote on her?
There's some liability that comes with that, so make sure you pronounce it correctly. So that
and that's also my grandmother's maiden name, Manukian.
Okay.
So
That's
I have
I've
another
never
link.
heard of it.
Nukian, would you like to say a free word?
I would just like to say I've been here for 3 weeks, and I've been working here for 3 weeks, and I really have enjoyed my time thus far.
Wait, it will come.
Wait.
No, I'm just kidding.
Everyone.
Code enforcement. That's.
No, it was a real honor and privilege to be chosen for this position, and I'm very happy to meet all of you, and I look forward to maybe interacting with you in the future.
What's some of your background? College, law school?
Yes, I graduated from UCLA with a bachelor's degree.
We need to vote on this lady.
UCLA with a degree in English, bachelor's degree in English, and then I went to UCLA Law School. I graduated in 2001, and then I spent about 7 or 8 years, I lost track, in private practice at a law firm doing civil litigation. So doing code enforcement is quite a change just because it's criminal procedure versus civil procedure. But I feel pretty comfortable. I've gotten really good training, and it's a huge change, but I think I'm adapting well.
Ms. Nukian, if I may, one thing I will tell you, not as a commissioner of Civil Service Commission, but ask you as a citizen of the city, and I said this to the person who was here prior to you, that code violations are sometimes happens with people who have not even received a single ticket for driving tickets, and they have no violation. They should be treated with respect and with an understanding that this citizens of this city must have. So when you go out there to try to enforce some of these codes, mediation and discussion and trying to help them is extremely, extremely important, because I know of 1 or 2 situations that people were arrested as a result of a code enforcement, which I think is a crime, in my opinion. It should never happen. However, I ask you please to do the best you can to try to work with these people, because most, I would say 90% don't even have never had any criminal charges filed against them, and it's foreign to them, and to give them an extension to work with them is extremely important. So I just ask this from you as a citizen, not as a commissioner, to consider, okay?
Yes, I will
Thank
do
you so
that.
much.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Questions?
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
good.
much.
Good comments, absolutely.
Next, please.
Report on advertising budget expenditure, January 2009 to March 2009.
Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, this is our quarterly report on advertising expenditures. As has been stated, this reflects the period of time from January 1st to March 31st of this year. Again, as a reflection of somewhat reduced recruitment activity, we have spent a smaller amount, $952 during this time period. On the second page of this report indicates where those advertisements occurred. In the report, we also talk about some of the projects that are currently online with our advertising area. We are working still on a public service announcement to promote recruitment and outreach for women in the public safety services. That would be police and fire careers. We're also working on a recruitment video for careers in the Glendale Police Department, focusing on the Korean population, much as we did last year, focusing on the Armenian population.
That's good.
Additionally, we're doing as much as we can to participate in outreach within the community. We're recently at the job fair at Glendale Community College. In a few weeks, on May 29th, in fact, we'll be at a job fair at the Verdugo Job Center. It's a veterans job fair focusing on people returning from careers in overseas, and hopefully we can assist some of those individuals. So with that, the report is for your information. If you have any questions, try and answer them. I also want to commend Rosie Akopian, who not only prepares this report, but also is involved in pretty much all of the advertising and outreach components that are addressed within this report. So she is here as well. So thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Manukian.
I was just going to actually follow up and ask you about the recruitment video that you guys were working on for the Korean market. How is that coming along?
I will go ahead and have Rosie address that question.
Good evening, Commissioner Manukian and Chair and Commissioners. The project that we're working on, we actually have taping dates scheduled for late this month, so we're almost there. And that's the hardest part to come to, because the person who, the producer we're working with has been spending his time interviewing some of our Korean police officers and getting some background with them. We've also met with some prominent community members from our Korean community and kind of trying to get feedback from them on how to, put the video out once the project is complete. So we're doing all that work ahead of time so that once the shooting is done, then, there'll be a couple of weeks of editing and we should have the final product hopefully sometime before the end of fiscal year, and then just start putting it out to the community.
Yeah, because I really think that's important. From my understanding, there's a big group of Korean immigrants that are going to be coming into the city. Yeah, and there's and we how we know that, we see that on the investment end of it, and we see a lot of investments coming in, and so I think it would be perfect timing to be able to recruit from the Korean market and have more Korean officers.
Absolutely.
So.
That's
good.
our
That's
goal.
Great job. I know it's not easy. It's a very difficult process in itself. So I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Likewise.
Won't understand it, but we still want to see it.
It will be in English. We have, one person that would like to have a small part in the Korean language with subtitles, just because they felt that would go quite far with the, community members.
Yeah,
so
because you guys did a great job on the Armenian one, so I'm sure this one will come out great too. Thank you.
That's the goal. Thank you.
Commissioner Manukian, you and the rest of the commissioners will be invited. I'm sure we'll be doing a big screening for all when this is done. So
love to be there.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Okay, what's next?
Amended resolution request to declare certain positions unclassified.
Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, at the April 8th, 2009 Commission meeting, the Commission approved a resolution declaring 21 soon-to-be-filled positions within the economic stimulus program that we've been working on to be declared unclassified. These are positions that have a limited duration that we do hope to fill quickly as per the terms of the economic stimulus grant, and thus it was requested that they be done on an unclassified basis. In the ensuing month since that was done, staff had a chance to further refine the program and relooked at just what we were asking for. And we want to make some changes, and I think the most significant of which is to really reduce the number of these positions that we're asking for. I think members of staff from Community Development and Housing, I think, took into account some of the dialogue that occurred here with the Commission as far as what we actually need and what we're going to be tasked with. So we are bringing this item back, and instead of asking for 21 positions to be declared unclassified, we've revised that number downward to 15. And in the course of that, we, in the course of putting together the job bulletin for a couple of the positions, we looked at the titles and the classifications that were originally selected, and we made the determination that these were probably not the best descriptive titles, jobs for the particular functions we were looking at. So, in addition to revising this downward, we're substituting some of the positions. The report alludes to a caseworker 2 positions, which we're changing from caseworker 2 to administrative analyst. Also, there was originally a request for an accounting technician position, of which instead we'll be needing an accountant 1. But with that, I think there's so much going on with this program, so much pressure to get these programs going, spend the money, fill the positions, that I think, again, staff went back and I think did a better job of determining just what's necessary and what's the appropriate match for the functions that we're looking at. So, thus, we have this resolution which we'd like to reintroduce and have you vote upon if it's the Commission's desire. If you have questions, I can try and answer them. Jess Duran, who's our Assistant Director for Community Development and Housing, is here as well to answer any specifics. So,
Gantis.
Mr. Chairman, at the last meeting, I asked the question, and Mr. Duran answered the question. Now that we've revised this, as I recall, there was $2 million that was going to be coming out, of which there was going to be, I think, $500,000 in salary.
Commissioner Gantis, you're looking at. Are you asking a question from someone?
I'm asking. I'm going to, if I could. Go
I'm sorry.
What is the amount that these jobs are going to be estimated to be in terms of salary now that we've cut this back? Where are we with the numbers on that, if we know? Mr. Doyle or whomever.
I thought there was somebody here you were talking about.
No, I'm thinking.
You're looking that way, and I said, who's he looking at?
If I looked at you, I couldn't
All those
think.
drugs are catching up with you.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman, I'm carrying Commission Member Gantis.
Your name first, please.
Jess Duran, Assistant Director of Community Development and Housing for the City of Glendale.
Thank you.
And, of course, our department is responsible for the Verdugo Job Center and the economic stimulus funds that we are talking about today. I don't have those figures readily available. It is a difference of 7 positions from the last time we were here. As Mr. Doyle indicated, last time we were here, we were very hurried to prepare a plan, to publish it, to be able to submit part of it to DOL and part of it to HUD. We've since then refined it and are more realistic in our requests for staffing. Of the 15 positions, 3 are in the community development section, and 12 are in the workforce section. But it's probably a 25% reduction in salary costs from the last time that we were here.
So I know one of my concerns, Mr. Chairman, was that how much, clearly we're getting this money to stimulate the economy. And what I'm hearing you say is we're going to have more money to go out into the economy, even though I think jobs are a stimulant. We also have it to go to the people, too. I think this reflects you did listen to us very, very closely, and I appreciate that, and I want to thank you very much. That concludes my comments.
I move for approval.
Hold on, one more comment.
No, I just wanted to say thank you. I know we gave you a little bit of hard. John did, not me.
Let me read the minutes, Steve, Mr.
Thank you. That's all I can say.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Move for approval?
Second.
Move second. Can we have roll call, please?
Commissioner Devine?
Yes.
Commissioner Gantis?
Yes.
Commissioner Manukian?
Yes.
Chair Carrihan?
Yes. Thank you very much.
And Mr. Chair, may I add, it's written right into this resolution that, again, these positions are to be declared unclassified for a limited period of time. We've listed through September 30th, 2011.
That's the only reason I said yes.
That was the only thing he was
Just for
looking
your
at.
information.
Don't want to have ever community development have somebody sit there for 18 years being unclassified. Not a good thing. So we appreciate the time limit on it so we can review it again. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Mr. Doyle. Very good thing.
We did that.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Gantis did the end.
We.
So
He's the man.
I don't know. Give credit for his stuff.
I don't care.
Okay, great. Thank you. What's next?
Agenda forecast?
Agenda forecast. Well, let me throw something out there. I apologize. I'm going to be not here for the May 27th meeting, and you're buying me lunch just for that. I ask if it's okay with everyone if we cancel the May 27th meeting and move everything to June 10th meeting. This way, I don't know if there's anything on May 27. If something comes up, then I'm sure Mr. Doyle will notify everyone. But if there is nothing, we can cancel the May 27th meeting and move everything to June 10th, which would be an extremely long meeting. But we need to have that long meeting to make sure that we cover everything. So if that's okay with everyone.
Is the one I see here about the temporary appointments, is that something we need to deal with before June 10th?
Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, that is something that should be dealt with in a timely manner. However, I'm meeting with police management and the city manager this week to address that, so that might not be an issue at that point.
Why don't we, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I don't disagree with what you want to do. Why don't we not cancel the meeting? Let's move everything to June 10th. We have already installed a policy that the chairman can cancel the meeting, or the vice chairman can cancel the meeting just on the request of the chairman. If there's nothing coming up, then we can just cancel it under that procedure, just to be in case we have to do the police thing. That would be the only thing I would be concerned
Well,
about.
I would like to be here for the police thing.
Yeah, but he's saying it may not, but it may
I know
need
you
to
call it the police thing. I would like to be here to hear what we're doing with the temporary appointment of a police department. So I would like to have whatever is happening will stay put until June 10th. I don't know how else to say it.
And my question was, could it do that? And I thought you said if it doesn't get resolved, it has to be brought up on May 27th.
Well,
That's all I'm asking.
Without getting into the details, it's the request to extend an acting appointment. The rules indicate that such an acting appointment, in order to extend it beyond 30 days, it requires commission approval, and it is already beyond 30 days. We had intended to put it on this meeting. The chairman requested that it be put on for the next meeting, thinking that he was not going to be here for this meeting. So we're already over it to some degree. So
We can, if that had to be heard on that day, we could have extended for just the 2-week period, could we not, and then bring it up again on June 10th? If it had to be heard that day.
Well, if there's no meeting until June 10th, nothing could be brought in front of us if the meeting is canceled until June 10th.
My point is, I guess we don't have authority for that position. It's only good for so long unless we approve it under our rules.
It's already late anyways, isn't it? Already
it is
past
already
time?
late.
Okay.
It's already late, and if you don't have a meeting, it can't be brought in front of us until
I
that
don't
time.
want to debate.
There's
That's
no
fine.
meeting on May 27th. It can't be brought in front of us until June 10th, so there shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
Let's change everything to the 10th.
I don't have a problem with that, as long as we're not.
Okay.
June 10th would be the date that we're going to have all of those issues brought in front of us. Plus, if you can add now that we're going to go along, let's go along, the appointment of the new officers.
Oh, okay.
On that date also, please. And then whatever else we need on the closed session, just so let people know that would be a very, very long meeting. Please plan for it.
Are we still having the closed session item?
Yes. We should have the closed session item that day.
We would anticipate that at that meeting.
please be here. And it's going to be for once. We've had a lot of cancellations in the past 2 months. You're making it up. It's like going into high school. You're making up all your tests on June 10th. Please be here long and plan to be here late. Plan to be here late.
I enjoyed the night spending here with Mr. Gantis.
I'm sure you have. I'm going to talk about it, civil service comment. Okay, anything else? And I'll really enjoy June 24th meeting because Mr. Gantis won't be here. It says Mr. Gantis will not be in here.
We love you.
Okay, what's next?
Reports and information passed to employee performance evaluation.
Okay. There it is. Mr. Devine, you want to do the honors?
Okay. Seems like we have no past dues for the city treasurer's office, for the finance director, fire department, Glendale Water and Power, human resources, information services, parks and rec, planning, and police. Appears that's a very good record, and they're keeping up their obligations to get these reports out. We'd like to offer our congratulations.
Okay, as I said, the police and police and water and power, fire have over 200-300 employees have consistently come back with no no past due evaluations, which is very commendable. Not that smaller departments aren't, but those departments have come consistently without any past due employee evaluation. So I want to thank those departments. Any comments?
No, I just had a question. What does it mean, special circumstance evaluations? What is that? Sorry?
Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, special circumstances are situations where we simply are unable to serve an evaluation on someone, either due to an illness, injury, a work comp case, or it could be someone who's on leave or being investigated for discipline, something along those lines.
Okay. What's next?
Civil Service Commission or staff comments.
Any comments? I have 2 comments. First, tonight, Glendale Healthy Kids has a Taste of Glendale, and they do an incredible job. And if you don't have tickets, I'm sure you'll walk in the streets and you'll see people with orange wristbands. They'll be more than happy to sell you more tickets, and it's great. You go to different restaurants and taste the food. So if you have the time, go out there and get the tickets and contribute to just a great organization, Glendale Healthy Kids. My second comment is that I want to tell you that I've talked to Roy Coleman, and Roy said that he's better and he will be here on June 10th, starting June 10th. So he's recovered very nicely and he's doing good, and I'm sure he's sitting at home watching us in here and looks forward and coming back and going to hearings and screaming and yelling and all of that. So he said he'll be back on June 10th, and he wanted to thank everyone who called him and sent him cards and everything else. So thank you.
We've missed Roy. It's good to have him back.
Any other comments? Okay, what's next?
Closed session.
We have one item in the closed...
2 items.
Two items in closed session. So we will adjourn into closed session.
We will report out, but not on TV.
But it will not be on TV. Thank you very much.